Hi, Taurus. Welcome to your December 2015 Taroscope. It's Rena here. And I think with some of this Sagittarius activity that occurs for a lot of the month, that your eighth house will be triggered. So that will mean that there will be kind of a signature in December of energy related to other people's money. Or it can even relate to your money if your money is something that is not earned by you directly. So it could relate to kind of the passive income, the investments, and things of that nature. If you have been looking for loans and trying to secure one, this might be a time when those issues come to the forefront. The sun will be in the eighth house for the first few weeks of the month, and this is a great time to look at those areas of finances that relate to this kind of indirect money. And it can also relate to spouse's money. Something could be brought to your attention. You might have to expend energy in this area to deal with some matter related to money that you don't earn. And there will be a new moon there as well on the 11th of the month. Speaking of moons, on the 25th, on Christmas Day, we have a full moon in the third house, which relates to your communications as well as your siblings and extended family members. Being Christmas Day, there might be some news that you hear about a sibling, or you might have some kind of connection with them, or there might be some development in that area. You could also find out something on the internet. Some of you may have writing projects that wrap up around this time. Remember that we have Jupiter in the fifth house for an entire year, so that increases the likelihood of creative energy for Taurians, and this may be for some of you in the writing arena. And so, with this third house, that might be the time when you wrap up some project related to writing. Venus has been in your seventh house, and while it was in your seventh house, it increased your appeal as a romantic partner, but for the long haul. So some of you may have gotten engaged during that time. It just might have been a very pleasant transit and romantic transit. Now you are ruled by Venus, so this kind of ups the ante a little bit. Now, with the new moon, there might be some news around the 11th of money that comes through for you that you didn't even know about, perhaps. Maybe it's in the realm of an inheritance, maybe it's in the realm of some sort of investment that you forgot about. And now you can buy some nice things with that coinage. Interestingly, now this is something we have to talk about for a sec, is that Saturn is in this house for 2.5 years. And because I have Taurus rising, the transits related to Taurus are very important to me. So they were saying that Saturn in the eighth house could mean that if you were relying on a spouse's money, that it could be restricted. But I believe, because I don't think Saturn is the big old bogeyman, I think that Saturn can actually nail down somebody else's finances. So, in other words, if you have a spouse who has the kind of profession that is rather erratic, where they don't know when they're going to get paid next, for instance, if they work for themselves, this is a perfect example. This might indicate that they have stable finances for 2.5 years. We always have to look at the positive side of things instead of just going to the default position of the worst possible scenario. And actually, when it comes to money, I trust Saturn because Saturn rules the sign of Capricorn, and Capricorn, and because of this, it's associated with the 10th house of career. It also co rules Aquarius, but that's besides the point. I think that it is a very disciplined position and that it bodes well for anything related to money. So now I am going to talk about the cards that I've picked. And for you, Taurus, the first card I picked relates to the energy coming into the month, and I got the Hanged Man. So this might be some kind of situation that is in a state of suspension where either you are deliberately putting something on hold, perhaps a relationship or a job offer until you find out more information, or it could just mean that it is something that you've decided to sacrifice in terms of a relationship. Let's say somebody was getting divorced, a Taurian, and they were going to fight for what they wanted, and then at the last minute they said, this isn't worth my peace of mind. You can have it. And because this is a general reading, I cannot obviously pin it down to one thing. I have to look at all the possibilities, and even that is not going to cover them all. You can apply the energy to your particular life and see if this card resonates. If you'd like a private reading, which employs your personal birth data, pulling up your natal chart along with a tarot spread, just click on the link below for a list of my services. And in any case, the feeling is just that you're kind of mulling things over, or that you're letting go and letting God. See, this is par for the course of Taurus. You are very patient and willing to wait if it works out in your favor. And I really do feel that this is relationship related for some of you, where maybe you were trying to force an issue. Maybe you were trying to get somebody to commit to you and they just kept dragging their feet and you finally just let it go. Now, the energy surrounding you this month is the Page of Wands. And this is an energy of a lot of enthusiasm, but it really asks you to be yourself during this time. I think that some of you will hear some nice news. Pages often refer to messages. And with the Page of Wands, some of you who have been waiting for a job offer may hear at this time. I think that with the Hangman, there may have been this period where you were kind of in suspension and didn't know what was going to happen. And this will propel you forward when you hear the news during this month. And so the month may center around this news, actually. And for some of you, it may just be that you are expressing a lot of enthusiasm right now for life, and almost like a childlike enthusiasm. And in the month of December, there may be a lot of vitality that you're feeling because of the holidays and reuniting with friends and family. So it's just a positive energy. It's a fiery energy. Some of you may even connect with a fire sign, perhaps in romance, but maybe just in friendship. And that will really influence the month. The message from the universe is the Knight of Pentacles. So even while you are experiencing this childlike joy during December, I think that there will be a lot of work that will be available for you in some fashion. And so I don't think that this is bad news at all, because I think a lot of you really enjoy that. Now that I think about it, Mars is in your sixth house of work. So it might be a case where you have a lot of stamina to work hard, and you can kind of get a lot accomplished during this time. The advice is the Nine of Wands, and this is a card of strength and kind of holding your own. And I think that for some of you, if you have felt in the past that you were, I don't want to say attacked, that sounds too extreme, but that someone or some situation caused you to feel as if you had no recourse, that you were like left exposed in some way. Now you're gaining that strength back. Now, I remember I have already picked the Page of Wands. So this is that fiery enthusiasm, but also bravery that's associated with the wands, the fire signs. And so that may be something that you have to kind of employ at this time. You'll have the ability to do so, but just make sure that you do not be a pushover during this time, because the first card, the Hangman, can also point to somebody who sacrifices him or herself. And we don't want to be martyrs. You know, that's the negative form of sacrifice. We want to always do it in the spirit of strength. The outcome card is a temperance card, and this can relate to moderation in all things. And knowing Taurus, as I know Taurus, being a Taurus rising, I know about the love of pleasure. And obviously, in December, there are a lot of opportunities to indulge in whatever. And so I think that you guys are going to be pretty balanced as we end 2015, because that's what the Temperance card is all about, especially if you follow the advice of the Nine of Wands, because that is a position of strength. And you can go into 2016 on an even keel and ready to tackle the new opportunities that life always brings us with a sense of equanimity. And that's wonderful. So I hope you enjoyed this reading, Taurus, and I wish you a wonderful holiday season. Take care. Bye.